So I am
Yeah.
now joined by a recurring guest, a friend of this podcast. It is BYU running backs coach Harvey Unga. Harv, how are we doing?
Good. I'm doing great, bud. How you doing?
I'm so good, man. So for people who may not know, I had Harvey on in September of 2019. I mean, that feels like it was 10 years ago now, but at that time, I think you were just an assistant coach, right?
Yeah, well, I was a grad assistant at the time. Yeah.
Gosh, yeah. So since then, you've went on to become BYU running backs coach. The school has had so much success. On a personal note, I've become the world's biggest BYU fan. I'm obsessed with the program now to the point where it annoys my friends, and I think that's all due in part to our conversation. So I wanted to say thank you.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it, and that means a lot. Super grateful. We got to chat and just catch up and touch base on everything, and grateful to have you part of the BYU family. So that means a
Let's
lot.
do it. Absolutely, Cougar Nation. So I was so happy for you when I saw you got hired as a running backs coach because you're such a great dude. And you went to the school. You were running back there for several years. Can you tell me what all went into that coaching move for you?
Um, it was kind of crazy. It was my last year as a grad assistant, so going into that upcoming fall, I wasn't sure what was going to happen. Coach Stewart, who was here before me, I didn't think he was going to leave anywhere. He'd done a phenomenal job before me and enjoyed the time that he had here. So in my head, I'm thinking, he's probably going to stick around for a little bit. But by luck and for me, I was actually planning on if I couldn't get catch a break and get a job anywhere at the collegiate level. I had told my wife, hey, I'm gonna just stick around and coach high school ball because she actually coaches basketball at the university just across town from us, Utah Valley. So I was gonna do that, just coach high school ball. But fortunately, Coach Grimes and A Rod Kalani, they took a chance on me and gave me a shot, and yeah, the rest is history. So it's been fun, man.
I love it. So, how much of an advantage was it that you've already been a running back at BYU? You've already done all the things that your students are doing. Like, how much easier is it to coach these guys knowing that you've already done that stuff?
Um, it does help. I'll say that it definitely does help a lot. Um, it makes things somewhat easier, although um, there's a lot that goes into college coaching, and it's not just the football side of things. Like teaching these guys the game of football, I feel like that's actually a strength for me. I love teaching, and I love this game. So to me, that was like the easy part. But understanding the ins and outs of recruiting and dealing with academics and trying to manage my room and making sure guys are on top of their grades, as well as still trying to go out there and find talent at different schools and evaluating talent. It was a little different for me and kind of a learning curve. But other than that, it's been good. I've been fortunate and blessed to play this game, and then now to be coaching a position that I've played. It's definitely helped.
You have a very talented room there, especially yet last year, a very talented room. This year, your running backs room is loaded with talent. I want to talk about our guy Tyler Algier for a second. So last
Yeah.
year, coming out party, especially that first game against Navy, which is 5 minutes down the road from where I live. By the way, I was so sad I couldn't go, but he had a
Yeah,
breakout
that's
game, two touchdowns over 100 yards. Like, how special was it, especially for that game for Tyler, just to know that former linebacker, walk on, like everything he had to go through to have a coming out party like that.
it was huge. Definitely, something a big milestone for Tyler, who's worked. The kid's worked his butt off, and like you said, coming from a walk on spot to then doing something like that and proving that he's he's a top tier running back in the country. Like that's something that not a lot of people can say, and for him to do it in the way that he did it, in the manner that he did it, it was huge. And especially going into that game, he not a lot of people know, but he had been just kind of going through some stuff at home with his grandfather being sick, having cancer and whatnot. So there was a lot going on for him personally, but it was nice to see him, catch a break and be able to, you know, enjoy that time and kind of bask in that glory of that game and the the win and the accomplishments that he had throughout the game.
Absolutely. I mean, he finished last year with 1,130 rushing yards. That was eighth in the nation, 13 touchdowns, 10th in the nation. How special of an athlete is he? Because you don't hear a lot about guys that go from linebacker, off-ball linebacker to running back like that and have the kind of numbers he did. Like, what did you see in him to that you knew that he was going to be a tremendous star like he is?
So when Ty first came in, I was a grad assistant, and he actually came to me like just out of nowhere and was like, "Hey, Harv, what are some drills I can do to work on certain things that I have tendencies with or weaknesses in my run game, or just his game overall?" And for an entire summer, about 3 months, he and I worked, day in and day out on his game, and from there, it was kind of easy for me to see because after you work with somebody for so long and you see the jumps and the improvement that he made, even within the first couple weeks, I kind of had an idea that okay, this guy's. I don't think he realizes how good he is if he can just kind of hone in a couple different things as far as his technique on certain, um, you know, protection type stuff or the way he runs the ball. If he were to just change it, just tweak a few things here and there, I think it would help him a lot. And um, from there, it kind of seemed like, all right, this kid has something to him. Football seems to just come easy for him, um, and I mean it showed. He did great, playing running back, but he also was he did awesome at linebacker. Um, and then on top of it, not a lot of people, he was one of our best special teams guys too. So when you got a guy that can do every single, facet of the game and is able to do good at it, and at other positions great, it's it's something that's special and something that I was fortunate, I'm blessed with to have in my room, and grateful that Kalani and them um, allowed him to come back into the running back room because I'm sure they wanted him as a linebacker too, but we definitely lucked out.
I'm so glad that obviously he had the opportunity to do that, and I'm so glad that the national people are starting to take notice. I've seen him ranked on some national like preseason running backs list coming into this year. But I mean, it's not just Tyler. Your entire room is stacked. So like, as the running backs coach, like, how do you get these guys to like keep up high levels of performance and build off what they did last year?
um, I think a lot of it, honestly, is instead of me sitting there trying to push them, a lot of what I've done is allowed them to set goals for themselves, but then set goals for each other and goals within our room. Um, that's something that I believe in. I think having played the game and I don't know, just kind of being around it, there's something about the coach trying to tell me what to do every single day, every minute, and um, always expecting this or that from the coach, as opposed to that same player being taught or having the expectations set by his peers or his teammates. I'm not the one playing the game; those guys are. So when it comes from somebody that's out there lifting with them, running with them in conditioning, practicing with them, and sweating out there and just going through the grind. A lot of times that kind of stuff motivates guys a little bit more than some coach that kind of just sits back and tells them what to do, doesn't have to go through, the same struggles. And although I have been through those things, it's a little different when it comes from their own, players and teammates. And from there, I think that's really helped change the culture in our room. And I feel like it's kind of trickling over with the team as well. These guys they're holding each other accountable for a lot of things.
That's a really interesting take on coaching and motivation. Is that something that you found from like your days of playing that worked best for you, or how did you kind of refine that tactic that you're using right now?
Yeah, no. So my running back coach when I was here, he kind of did the same thing when we came in. There was a new offensive system with Coach and I, and um, our coach, the Coach Reynolds at the time, he actually let us implement a lot of our input in regards to like our footwork on our tracks, to our aiming points, to various little things. And then on top of it, he kind of ushered us to like hold each other accountable to those things. And he was like, "Hey, you guys are the ones that came up with these plays and these certain technical details of the play. So you guys need to hold each other accountable for it." And from there, I was like, you know what, it makes sense. And for me, there wasn't anything more frustrating than when I had let one of my guys down, like one of my teammates down. And from there, that motivated me so much more to just want to be better at the game, better at my position, and kind of help me uh, really just be more of a student of the game. And I feel like these guys are doing it too. It's been cool to see.
Absolutely. Everybody there's crushing it. So I wanted to kind of switch gears for a second and talk about somebody on your team last year that made a lot of national viral news. It was Masen Wake, fullback hurdling extraordinaire. I mean, I
Yeah.
think he had 3 or 4 viral hurdles that came out last year. I loved them. Everybody on the internet loved them. Did the coaching staff love the hurdling as much as we did?
At first, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of us were a little iffy about it, but I mean, like you said, he kept doing it and was taking care of the ball and made plays. So it's hard to hate somebody or be frustrated with them when they're doing what they're supposed to be doing and because they play with a little bit of flair, it's hard to be frustrated or mad at that. So at first, I'm not gonna lie, we were a little hesitant on it, but as time went on and we saw him just kind of play the game, it was we were like, all right, let this kid go and let him do his thing, and when the time comes, if we need to coach him up on certain points, we will. But if not, like that's what we're here for. Let these guys have fun and do their thing, and let them kind of be in their element.
Right, because I'd have to imagine you don't want to see him get like helicoptered or get blown up when he's trying to make
Yeah.
the hurdle. But like, does it make it a little bit easier knowing that he set some amazing blocks for your running back guys?
Oh, for sure. We and the backs know too. Like that's something we're first and foremost grateful for. Like the things that the tight ends do, the O line, even the wideouts when they're out there blocking corners and safeties downfield. It's something we're super grateful for. And with Mason, there's a sense of relief and kind of ease when we know that he's lead blocking for us because we're like, all right, well, let's follow the big boy and then see where this leads us.
Did you ever hurdle anybody back in your day?
Oh man, I'm trying to think. I don't know if I did. If I did, I'm sure it was like a baby hurdle. It wasn't anything like what Mason's doing, jumping over guys that are standing straight up and down. It's amazing to see Mason do that. But I don't. Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, if anything, it was probably a defender diving at my knees or ankles, and it wasn't too big of a hurdle like he does, but some small.
He's such a special athlete. I had him on the podcast last fall, and it was so interesting learning about like the mindset of a guy. Like, all right, you see a guy running right at you, and you said straight up and down, and then to jump over him. So I'm a big Mason Wake guy. I want to talk a little bit about somebody that was your quarterback last year. You probably know very well, Zack Wilson, 8th in the
Yeah.
Heisman vote last year, coming out party. So you've obviously seen him up close, and you've coached him. You've been around him for years. Like, just how special of an athlete is he? And can you tell me a little bit about the kind of person the Jets are getting?
As far as an athlete, kid is a phenomenal athlete. Can I feel like he's the kind of kid that can pick up a ball in any sport, and after a few times of playing the sport, he'll be good at it. Great basketball player. Um, he just in everything that he does, I've noticed he's just natural at things. The one thing I do appreciate the most about him, though, is his approach to the game. His approach to the game and his humility amongst all the accolades and all the praise in the world and stuff. There was something about him that I really admired when he didn't. It never really got to his head. He treated everybody the same. Never played the big dog card and made it about him. It was always about the team, and that's something I appreciate. And for the Jets, it's he's young and there's going to be some growing pains and stuff, but he's such a great quarterback and a great leader that I can't not see him succeeding over there and doing well.
Did you see like some of the throws he's made, especially the pro day throw that everybody went viral? Does he do that kind of stuff normally? Like, does he normally make those kind of rolling out to the left cross body? Like, have you ever just been like wowed by the stuff he does with his arm?
Yeah, for sure. There's numerous times I mean, that to him is like it's a almost a normal thing when we're in practice. We watch him make some amazing throws all the time. There's some trickery to some of the throws he makes in practice, and it's pretty cool to see like the how athletic he is and the way he's evolved his game and the talent level that he has. But no, he definitely makes those plays and those throws routinely during practice and stuff. So it didn't surprise me at all.
Absolutely. So I want to talk a little bit about coaching and everything that happened last year, just playing through COVID. The COVID aspect, no fans, you got constant testing. There was postponement of some games. Like, as a coach and being around the guys, like, how difficult was it to manage through 2020?
It was rough. I'm not gonna lie. There's a sense of urgency and I don't know what you want to call it, just attention when you have your room and you guys are meeting as a unit inside a room. But then when you're having Zoom meetings or FaceTime meetings or whatever, it's a little tricky, a little different, and I can tell guys' attention span it goes out the door real quick. So trying to manage all that and figure out how we're going to get through this week to week, who we're going to play week to week. It was pretty difficult, but all that being said, we were super grateful we were able to play a season, play football and be able to have a full schedule and to go out and do what we did. It was a huge blessing for us, and even though there were some growing pains throughout the time going, definitely something grateful that we got to do that.
And talking about all the success you had, 11-1, 16th in the national polls. You won the Boca Bowl, so that's kind of awesome. So, like, how do you build off of such a fantastic season last year, and how do you kind of carry that into this year?
I think one, take the confidence. That's something we got to build off of. I want these guys, to keep playing confident and know that they're capable and able to play, the same football and at that high level with any team in the country. So taking that confidence, but at the same time, understanding it's a different schedule, and there are different parts of our offense that we no longer have with Zach and Brady and a couple other guys, Dax and stuff. But um, it's for us, I think, just understanding that there's that standard that you'd want to keep, and to me, I hope these guys have a little chip on their shoulder, just with people maybe doubting them, saying, oh well, that season was it wasn't as tough as this season's going to be, or this or that or whatever excuses people want to give us. I hope guys kind of use that as motivation and a chip on their shoulder to come out this season and you know prove anybody wrong and hopefully play for each other, and then we'll see where everything lies at the end of the season.
I love it. Let's do a couple quick rapid fire questions. I want to be a little conscientious of your time in here. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
joining me.
for
So
sure.
next week, I'm going to be down in Charlotte for Carolina Panthers training camp, and a
Yeah.
couple BYU guys are there already. Brady Christensen and Micah Simon. I was wondering if maybe there's like one or two things that like I could like talk to them about, or just like things that people might not know about them that I could bring up.
Oh, with Brady, I'm trying to think. God, man, I don't know if a ton of people know. Like Brady was an all-star basketball player coming out of high school. I think a lot of guys thought he was, a better basketball player than football player at the time.
Wow.
So I'm curious what he feels and what he thinks about that. And then Micah, I'm trying to think. I don't know. Micah's a little um,
The
kind
fastest
of a
person I've
closed
ever seen.
book. Yeah. Um, I'm trying to think. There was a former NFL player whose daughter he was dating. I'm blanking right now who it was, and I don't know if they're still dating, but I'm curious to see if that's still going on. So I think if you ask him that, he might. It'd be funny if I'd like to see what he and be like, "How did you know that?"
All right, I will do that and I will report back. Speaking of basketball, I've had, Riley Nelson's come on the podcast and he said that you can smell a basketball game from 20 miles away. Masen Wake, when Mason was on, he said he could back you down in the low post and beat you straight up. So I just wanted to know if you are you going to stand there and take that from him.
I feel bad for Mason. I'm glad that he lives in a fantasy world where that happens, but that's I that's definitely something that would never ever happen, and he knows that. So I'm glad he lives in that fantasy world. But I'm not gonna lie, Riley's got a point. That's something that I'm not gonna lie. I love basketball. It's a passion of mine, something I love and enjoy, and yeah, it's been something that I still continue to try to do and play. So,
I love it. What's your favorite road city that you've been to with BYU?
ooh, Road City. That's tough. Um, I mean, you can't beat Hawaii, so
It's a good one.
Hawaii would definitely be up there. But I think Wisconsin. That was definitely one of the most fun games, an interesting town, a cool vibe, cool area, a lot of history there, and obviously the game, was a good game for us. So probably one of the cooler places that I've been to. That and Tennessee, I think those are two places that were pretty cool, places to go and play.
All right, two more. You guys are actually playing Arizona at the Raiders Stadium in Vegas. Just how excited are you to be in an NFL stadium? Hopefully, BYU faithful shows up.
I'm pumped, excited. I can't wait. It'll be fun. It sounds like there's going to be quite a few Cougar fans out there that will be there in support. So I'm excited for that.
All right, last question. I think this is going to be the year. I think this is the year I'm going to go to Provo and actually see a game in person. And I was just wondering if I do end up doing that, can I come say hi?
Come on, that's not even a question, man. You already know.
Let's go.
Whenever you come down to Provo, you hit me up and let me know. We'll meet up.
Absolutely, dude. I would love that. Thank you so much for your time. And this is something I've wanted to do. I wanted to have a part two of our conversation since we first met a couple years ago, and you've been super nice throughout. So Harvey Unga, you're the man. When's the home opener again? Or when's the opener?
September 11th.
September 11th. I think it's on
11th,
ESPN.
yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. It's a Utah game. Yep.
Perfect. All right. Well, I'm gonna let you get to your meeting. Thank you so much